Are we doing it now?
Yeah, we're doing it now. You're live now.
It's me, Demure Puddin', and I am here with the delicious and divine Chloe Demure from Save the Victory Roll. How are you, Chloe?
I'm doing good. Good.
You know, this stage of makeup is a fun childhood memory for me. It's, oh, do we have the mic hooked up? I bet we don't.
Oh, my goodness. Well, how do I do that, Richard?
Right there, next to this cord, that other cord. No. Sorry, behind it. Like, yes, that one plugs into the mic.
Okay. Look at us. Well,
So sorry, I just realized I hadn't plugged in the mic.
I'm not sure where the cord is.
It's right underneath.
Okay, got it. Alrighty.
Oh my God.
Strong.
I'm still not moved in.
Oh, there you go. I think we're live. I think we got sound happening.
So everyone can hear me. I know Chloe can hear me. I just want to make sure that people could hear me. And I want to also welcome Candace Gregoris, my birthday twin. She is here managing the phones. So if you're watching, you have a question, you have anything you want to share, hopes, dreams, kill list, I don't care. But let us know. And so this is an interesting live because whose idea was it, Chloe? I feel like I want to blame you.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Oh, it's because I did that video on if I had the smallest collection, if I had a normal collection, and then we're talking about all the old makeup or whatever. And then I thought this might be fun live because we're both complaining that we have palettes that we don't use and some are getting long in the tooth. That are they still good? So
well, I need to start this off by saying I had a bit of a head start. Well, not even a head start. I thinned out the herd before I moved.
Mm-hmm.
I had a huge declutter at the end of the year last year. I sent you some stuff. I gave Candace. I gave some other people some stuff, but some of it I got rid of because it was just past its due date. I had Angelica Nyquist's first palette that I barely used. That I should never have bought that. It was a fine palette, but it just was useless for me. And it just sat there, and I went to use it again because I saw somebody using it going, oh, that's a great color. And it was patchy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, I think, with the problem with the makeup culture that we're experiencing, maybe not so much as maybe a few years ago, but still it's there, is that people get caught up on the next thing. And, it's no offense to creators. There's lots of creators out there. One of the ones that I follow vehemently is Carrie on YouTube. She is always very much either getting a PR thing early so I can get a sense of whether I'm interested or not, or she's buying her own stuff, but she gets in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like her reviews because she, even if she's a fan, she'll say if she's disappointed. And so I like that. But so many reviewers, just the next thing. And they've never touched that palette since. And the thing that breaks my heart there is most of them are getting it in PR. And I'm not disparaging that. Good for you. But they're not paying for it. So here are these people with these extensive collections, no investment on their part. They don't need to go back and use something every, to make it worth the money they spend. And so I think what it does is it gives a message out to other people who are just either sitting in their room putting makeup on or doing their own channel that, oh, this is how you do it. It's like, And people ignore there are some palettes. I remember palettes that came out that were, so exciting. So what I did was, even though I got rid of a bunch before I moved, I went through my palettes and looked at the stuff that I kept that is older that I don't use, but I still like it enough that I kept it. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 palettes. And here they are. I'm just going to hold them up. And I'm just going to quickly go through them. Juvia's Place, which I love. This is the collab that they did with Fumi Desalouvold. It's the disco palette one. I love this. I won't get rid of it. This blue here is almost like black. This shimmer, the only thing I hate is that teal. I'll never use that color. But it's a great little palette. I love that. The next one, Midas, the Lemonade. I'm excited to use this.
That's my favorite, one of my favorite palettes of all time. I'm going to use it until literally I
But look at how fresh mine is. It's still very. Oh, now this is the thing: is it's so old that the glue's dried up, and these.
Yeah, I
pans
have
are
one that falls out all the time too.
Yeah.
That I have to
So
refill.
I'm going to use this today and see if any of the formulations have held up. If maybe it doesn't need to be there. The next one I have is the Ugly palette by Unlikely. Is it Unlikely or Likely Cosmetics?
Likely Cosmetics, yeah.
Likely Makeup. This is their palette. This is a Canadian company. This isn't as old as some of these, but it's still. I've had this a while.
It's a year and a half, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So this might be the newest of the old.
Yeah.
And then I have two P. Louise palettes that were limited edition for Christmas. The Winter Wonderland palette and the Under the Mistletoe palette. I love this Under the Mistletoe palette. I can't get enough of this palette.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
And I don't use either of these. I don't know why. My oldest palette. This was sent to me in. This isn't my oldest palette. But this was sent to me in one of my very first gift I ever got on Instagram. I mean on YouTube. And I know who sent this to me, but I don't have their name in my head because I'm old and I'm starting to forget things, and the Rolodex is full. And I meant to look it up, and I've just been crazy. But they also sent me the PR box this came in, and it came with the mirror that says "Beast," and it's pink and glittery, but the stones were coming off the mirror, so I kept it as a prop behind me on my old wall, and I still have it. I just have to figure out what to do. But this is the Alyssa Edwards palette from. This is the thing. My big pet peeve: I won't buy a palette if there's a brush in it, because the brushes are always double-ended, and that's the next pet peeve. I will not touch. If you have a brush set and one of them is double-ended, sorry for you. We're not friends anymore. So I hate those two things. I would rather use my brushes than have a crappy cheap one from a palette. But that said, that's Anastasia Beverly Hills thing, is to include a brush. But this is the Alyssa Edwards palette. Now this is the first palette I also panned. I panned the black and I panned the white because these are the best blacks and whites you'll ever get, especially for drag makeup. But I still use this palette for my eyebrows. The purples and this yellow in here will rival anything in Midas, but we'll see how she's holding up. Another thing I got from Juvia's Place, the Queen palette. This is a blush palette. And this is Phoebe Desleuvold collab as well. So I'm going to use some blush out of that. And then I'm not a fan of this company anymore because I think that they've dropped the ball and gotten crazy. But this was the first palette I ever bought from them. It is from Alien Cosmetics, which is now Unlikely. It's the Hauntingly Glamorous palette.
That was
I
nice.
I love this color story. This is when Unlikely, Alien, Unlikely, whatever, was good. Their pans were big. They had really unique colors. The color stories maybe weren't necessarily harmonious within themselves, but gave you a lot of options. I always wanted to get the Sleepover palette, and then we got that first Halloween box, which was great. And in my opinion, they've just become very mainstream. They're trying to, I get it, they're trying to sell as much as they can. And not as many people like this as they like browns and beiges. So I get it, but I won't buy anything from them ever again, just because they abandoned their the thing that made them great, which makes me realize they're just in it for the money. And I get it. I'm not saying you can't make a living, but I also think you should have a passion with what you're doing, and I don't feel the passion there anymore. Yeah. My last Juvia's Place is the Festival. This is one of the earliest palettes that I bought from them, and I do use this, but not as much. But I like blush. The blushes in here are great, or for blush anyway.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I have, which is not first palette, but it's I think one of the first things I got from P. Louise, the Queen Conquers palette. I love this palette. It's got the two sides.
That's the one with the chessboard in it?
Yeah, I love this. So those are the palettes that I've pulled out for this endeavor. What have you got?
Yeah. No, I've been noticing a lot of brands. Give Me Glow's done it too, where they're all going smaller pans because people are complaining. I like the big pans too. And then I was watching Alexis Kate yesterday. She was doing a big declutter, so she did a 3-part series, and she admitted it in there. She was like, "Yeah, got this in PR. Last time I used it was when I did that video. Never touched it again." So she's aware too that there's a lot of that going on, which I really like about her. Most of mine are I bought them almost within the same time period, and they were like just before the panini hit, and I was just getting back into makeup again. I seem to go in and out of it. So one of the very first ones I got was this one here. So that's the Beauty Bay.
Oh, I love that palette.
Which I love. I kind of like Rhea, where she does the Is It Too Old for Friday? And she always does an older palette and uses this one. So for any colors that are missing, this basically covers it. So if she feels that she's missing a black or a white or something to go with it, she has this one, which I think is a really good idea, because this is it's ginormous, right? So I bought this one, and then at the same time I was hearing about Colored Rain, which is one of my favorite brands. And then,
never bought from them. Yeah.
Oh, I love them. I have so much. But like this here, now that I have, like, had I known, I think I just ordered this one and then I ordered the Beauty Bay right after. I should have only ordered one or the other, because this is kind of like the small condensed version of the bright mattes, but just no black, no white, right? Just the colors, but it has everything in there. And then it's also the packaging started to come unglued. So you can tell that I've had that one for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then I have another one, and I've been hard pressed I think it'll go in my next declutter. I'm going to try and do one soon, but it's also from Beauty Bay, and it's their pastels. So it's that little teeny pastel palette. And you can tell I've used it quite a bit. There's tons of dips in it. So originally when I was looking for a pastel or blending out shade, this basically covered all your blending out shades.
Yeah,
so
that's a great companion palette for sure.
Mm-hmm. But it's got to be 4 years old now, somewhere in there, 5 years.
That's the thing, I noticed myself when I was in the zeitgeist early of all of this makeup was, I don't need every rainbow palette that comes out. And so now when you started your no-buy, I did. And I actually have not, I'm gonna.
You've done way better.
I want to admit something to you all. I went a little crazy after Chloe, this horrible person I know on YouTube, mentioned to me there's this new company called I Feel Beautiful in Canada. And if you're a Canadian person who doesn't buy indie makeup because it's so expensive to begin with, there's the exchange rate, there's the shipping, there's the length of time in shipping, because apparently for something to come to New York, to Toronto, it's got to go all the way to Texas first. So I don't get that. But I Feel Beautiful is this great little company that's in Chloe's neck of the woods on the west coast of Canada. And what they do is they have, just go to their website. I didn't plan to talk about them, or I would have had the website up for Candace to show you. But they have a bunch of indie brands, great indie brands, Gourmand Girls, Glamlight, Blend Bunny, Ensley Rain, and you can order their palettes. They're a little more expensive than they would be on the actual site, but when you factor in exchange rate and duty, those surprise duty fees at the border, none of that's there. And I ordered. I'm going to talk about them on another. So I'm going to talk about them.
Darcy's here.
Oh, hey, Darcy.
Darcy says, I saw that there's a company in Canada you can order from.
Yeah, that's
I Feel Beautiful. I'm just talking about them. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're Canadian and you're sick and tired of all of the BS and buying from the States.
Yeah, I tagged them because Lethal was asking, is there anybody you want us to be distributed at? And I put it on right away, at I Feel Beautiful. And they were like, yes, please, we would love to carry Lethal. So so they're a great place for indie. I still have yet to buy something. I'm just waiting for the right thing.
Well, I'll have to tell you, I ordered something, and I wish I could remember his name, because he was great, because I think there was some reason I needed to talk to them. Oh, my address or something. There was an old, there was a problem, and I had to talk to him, and he answered me right away. I wish I could remember his name, because it was such a funny name. Like, it was just not a name you hear every day.
Yeah.
And he was so conscientious and so helpful. And I have like 7 or 8 emails from him, all to solve that problem. And then every tracking notice that I got from from UPS, so-and-so is letting you know about your package. Like, it was very, like, I felt like he was on it and he was handling it. And
Yeah.
he even asked me, "Oh, how did you hear of us?" And then and I rated them. I you know, the nice thing about them as a company is they're not making the makeup. They're just facilitating makeup that's hard to get a hold of.
I think
And-
they just watch all of us, and they probably do it too, where they use makeup and they don't want to pay for it. Like the duty on my Wicked Widow was absolutely nutso. Like
What was it? How much?
It was already an expensive thing, and then adding all the duty. So if you can kind of cut out the middleman, and you'll still save some.
And the
then
exchange rate changes all the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then the last two palettes. Oh, I was gonna got here is the Juvia's Place ones. So I think I got Zulu first.
Ooh.
And I mean, as you can see why, right? And there's quite a few dips in there. I did use that so much in the beginning because at the time I had 3 or 4 palettes, right? And that's when I was starting color, because before that I had like maybe an Urban Decay naked palette, and that was pretty much it. And then this one that's come in and out of stock, and it's classified one of their best palettes.
I love that palette.
Yeah, and I haven't used it as much as I should. And look at it, like it's.
Now, I was thinking of putting that and the Zulu in my collection of, I haven't used these very much, but that Tribe palette was out of stock. So I didn't get it for a year.
Yeah.
And then it was in and I jumped all over it. And it's another one I don't use that much, but it's a great green palette. And then the Zulu is just some good color.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then, if you love color, this is the perfect palette, right? So,
yeah.
Darcy has a question.
Go on.
I ordered the mini nocturnal palette now. Did you guys all hear about my Glam Matrix Nightmare when they first came out with that?
No.
I don't know.
Oh, Wilma also had a nightmare with that one too, and that's why the palette.
Which one? What are we talking about?
Remember that Glaminatrix palette you sent me? The green one? They've now come out with a mini one. And I guess that Darcy's now having kind of maybe the same kind of tragedy that you did when you got it. It's the one that took forever and ever to get, and then it came with 2 broken shades, and then
Glaminatrix.
Yeah.
I've heard Glaminatrix, but my brain kept saying Glamlight, and I'm like,
oh,
oh yeah, no. What a great company. I mean, no fault to them. They're Australian, and they couldn't be further away, so they're going to have the worst shipping. Not even time or expense, but physical. The shipping is going to get tossed like a football. And their formulas don't travel well. And I got that one that I sent to you, whatever it was. And I'll tell you, first of all, it took so long. It was a pre-order. So that was my first pre-order. And then it was a delayed pre-order, which made me hate everybody. Because I don't like spending money without having something in my hands. Whether the thing in my hands is worth what I spent or not, at least I have it and I can make that decision. But when I'm being told, oh, and maybe next week, and then it showed up with broken, but they had said, oh, so I contacted them and they sent me back the singles of what was broken. But by then I didn't want to use it. Do you know what I mean? It was no offense to them. It had nothing to do with them specifically. It was just my reaction to the whole situation.
What colors are you using, Chloe?
I'm going to start with this one here from the Colored Rain. I'm going to try and see if I can use a little bit from all the palettes.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm using the Alicia for my eyebrows, because I always do. I started with the Supreme, and now I'm using Hoe, H-O-E, just to fill in. And then I'll go in with this darker one at the tail end, just to bring it all together. But Glaminatrix, bless. So what happened with Darcy?
Let's see. Just that it came broken.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't buy from them anymore, and it's not because they're not a good company. It's the shipping, the length of distance, and all of that. Like I think that it all kind of creates a perfect fail for them. Although other people had the same issues that were not as far away.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why they went with the mini ones. I think that they'll be less fragile.
Yeah.
And easier to pack up and to ship because they take more room. So you can, in the same kind of box, wrap it even better. But the one thing I do like about Australian companies is their dollar is about the same as ours. So when you look at the palette, you don't have to go, oh, is that 30% or 65% on top? Like with the UK, it's like 75% extra, stuff like that. I can look at it and go, oh, it's 59 Australian pounds. So it's either going to be 58 Canadian or 60 Canadian. Like we always waffle a dollar on each side. And then it depends on whatever shipping is. But I can look at the Australian dollar and go, yep, I can afford that. Go. Yeah. Right. And then some brands are really good. Like the girl that I just bought powder from, she has free shipping from Australia. Right. So you just got to pay $30. Nakia Joy. Yeah. So I think you pay $30 and you get free shipping. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and be like, you know, especially after just even talking with Darcy about what it's like to run a company on your own. I try and be very aware and patient and understanding. And, you know, I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but I'll tell you, Midas was a terrible company for shipping. And then...
I've never had a problem with Midas.
Oh, I ended up telling them off. And that was the last time I got anything from them. And then I heard that they were closing. And in my heart, I was like, that's too bad. But in my head, I was like, good. But no, it was awful. I waited over a month for, I think, that yellow palette.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
well,
like
I didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't get it the first time around, so I don't know, because there was so much hype because they were saying it was better than the ColourPop version, and I think that made everybody go insane. But I got it like when they reissued it, say a year later or whatever. So I think the hype was down on it. So, and I did 3 or 4 orders via Midas, and I never had a problem. But again, it's always different for everybody. That's why when I had somebody on one comment on one of my things that they had such a bad time with Clarity Cosmetics. So it has put a little bit of a damper, especially their shipping is stupid expensive, like stupid. But so many other people say, oh my God, it's so amazing. But I've had enough people say that the quality is okay. It isn't worth all the craziness that I haven't bothered to try.
Yeah, I'm not... there are certain companies that I haven't bothered with because of their shipping, which is why I think I Feel Beautiful in Canada for Canadians is a great thing because it's Canadian shipping.
Exactly. That's one thing. Same thing too with Likely Makeup. So that's why when she put out those blushes, I was like, okay, I'll do it. She's here. And they're in the funky colors that I like. So. Okay, well, so far this green is doing really good for the colored rain. So for something that is super old where the plastic is or the packaging is starting to fall apart, it's still doing good. I know their top palette had problems and then people didn't like it.
Oh, is that right?
Still smells good too. Doesn't smell like anything. So
yeah, I'm just cleaning up my eyebrows that I did with the Alyssa Edward. They blended well. There's pigment. It's eyebrows, so it's hard to tell. So
no, it's looking good from here.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, so far so good. This is the thing too. Makeup has, on average, a year's shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure technically if that means from the time it was made or from the time you opened it. Because some makeup comes unsealed, like it's not wrapped in plastic. It's just closed with a sleeve around it. So if that's what's keeping it fresh, why aren't we putting our food in the fridge like that? You know what I mean? So it's just for me, I don't trust, like, what do they mean 12 months? When was this palette made? Or something's on sale at the store and maybe they've had 3 restocks, but that's the first restock, you know? So I don't trust a lot of that.
It's just the best before dates on most thing is just when it's the most optimal. Because I used to work in health supplements, and what we would do when things would get close to their expiry dates, we would send them to a lab to see what their potency is. And certain things, so some things will have kept their potency or they're within, say, 95% or something. Then we could add time to it and then keep selling it. But then there's other stuff, you'll test it and it's only good 50% or whatever. Then we would put it on sale saying that it's, that it's past, it's past its, it's still good, but not as good if people wanted to buy it. But it's the same thing with makeup, I think, because some powder stuff seems to last forever depending on the brand, right?
Yeah.
So I never worry about powder stuff, but foundations and cream stuff, that's the ones where I'm a little bit more, ooh, how does this smell? How is this feeling?
Yeah.
How is this looking? Right?
I'm picking up my disco party, Juvia's Place Fumi disco party. I'm going into this horrible blue that I rarely ever use. The thing about this blue, though, is it's also a bit of a satin. It's got a bit of a shine, not enough to bother me, but I like the depth of it, so I'm going to start my eye with this.
Yeah, I think if it's the very lightest of shimmer, it really helps with blending. I think it's just for certain colors, it just helps them to blend.
Yeah.
Hello to Wales. Al Roan is with us from Wales. Hey, hello from Wet Wales. Hope you're doing well, Mama.
Oh, I love Wales. God, I've never been. I want to go so bad.
It's on
joining. My family's Scottish, and I know they lump Irish, Scottish, and Welsh together as like clan type, like because they're very different from English because they have their own language. You know what I mean? Like, and God, try and understand the Welsh accent if you're not used to it. It's the same as Scottish.
There you go.
The first time I heard my cousins talk, I thought they were having a fit.
Are you threatening me with a pit of cake?
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, I lost my friggin' mind. And this was in the 70s before a lot of cultural humor was really around the Scottish accent. I feel like it's come up more. But yeah, I've always wanted to go to Wales. There was a Welsh musical period show. I don't know how many parts it was, but I feel like I was high and I made it up because it's so random, but it was called Lipstick on Your Collar.
No, it's a real show.
Okay. And the kid, I couldn't tell if the kid in the lead was Welsh or just having trouble with the accent, but I've never heard anyone talk like that in my life. It was remarkable. But yeah, that's as Welsh as I've been. Oh, also the movie Pride that takes place in Wales.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. But there's this kid. I can't remember what his name is. Her name. She's a drag queen. I've talked about her before. But she does tutorials on YouTube, like little cute little tutorials. And sometimes I send Wilhelmina like tutorials where it's like, oh, you know, for first time doing drag or tips to improve your drag, like just things like that, because she's still learning. And I like it when there's videos that show the basics, because a lot of people, I think, forget that there are new people who don't know what's going on. And she does a lot of her detail work with very fine brushes, and I learned through her videos. And keep in mind, she's 20, but you learn from somebody. But she's like, the tighter brush will give you a nice depth of color, whereas the fluffy brush will spread it out and disperse it. So I used to use fluffier brushes for my eyelids, and now I've stuck to the pencil brushes. What?
And I use more fluffy brushes and only use the pencil ones for underneath, or if I really need to pack on color.
Right.
Well, I always like to build my color instead of having it too like bang, because I'm still learning too, right? Like if it goes on too bang and I make a mistake, it's harder to fix.
Yeah. Do you remember what the first makeup was you bought online in this era of makeup?
It was Juvia's Place.
Yeah.
It was the Zulu palette. That was when I started watching all the YouTubers and really starting to get into it. Because other than that, it was you go to Sephora, right? So you get Urban Decay or something like that. But like online indie, go to buy something. And the first time I tried to buy it, I think I bought it through Beauty Bay because it was sold out at Zulu and it never arrived.
Oh,
yeah. And I had to fight Beauty Bay, I got a refund, and then something like 8 months later, it showed up in this box that looked like some monster had chewed it up and spit it out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What shape was the palette in? Was it completely trashed?
No, it was okay. I ended up just giving it because it was so long later. I just ended up giving it to somebody else, and then I had by that point it had gone back into stock into Juvia's Place, and then I went and I picked it up on Juvia's Place. But it had been so long, right? I wasn't sure if I was ever going to buy from them again. And then the next time I bought from Beauty Bay, and since then I've never had a problem with Beauty Bay.
Yeah, Beauty Bay used to be awful with their shipping, especially international, but they seem to have improved their situation.
Well, I even heard local, people who buy local from them used to really complain about how crappy they
I remember lots of people complaining.
Yeah, nope, you got to wait 3 months before we'll refund you or whatever, right? So it did take me a few months too, right? So it took, I think, 2 or 3 months. Then that was refunded, and then 8 months after that. So basically a year after I'd ordered that palette, it somehow magically showed up with the shit kicked out of it. But it was I'd already rebought it, spent the shipping through Juvia's Place. So I was like, all right, here, friend, have a palette.
Yeah.
Psycho Space Cadet is saying, Wilma, you're the one who turned me on to Juvia's Place, and I'm obsessed with them now.
Yeah, they're great. They're a great company. They haven't come out with anything eyeshadowy that's been impressive to me lately. They have a new palette. The Culture palette, Chihuahua. Anyway, because they've kind of been upping their foundation game and their liquid blush. They're getting on the liquid blush and lip oil trend, and that's all fine. I get it, but I don't. I'm not interested in products like that. So, right now I'm into my Juvia's Place Winter Wonderland. I'm going into. Winter is a coming. It doesn't say a coming. Winter is coming, but that's the color right there. And I'm just blending out the blue from Juvia's Place with this. So the first company I bought from online in the wake of the zeitgeist was Jeffree Star. And the only reason it wasn't because I didn't like Jeffree Star. I knew who he was because he was that a-hole on line who always seemed to have problems with everybody else's hard work. You know what I mean? He always seemed to be
wanted nobody else to succeed.
Into the garden or something like that. It's but you have no problem with your product that you stole the formula from Kat Von D. Anyway, the problem is, I didn't realize a friend of mine was using it, and I was so impressed with how they looked. And at that time, I was only using theater makeup, like Krylon and stuff. So finely milled or anything like that was of no familiarity to me. So I was like, ooh, and I looked online and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay, well, all right. And in the course of me hitting purchase and it arriving, that's when all of the height of that BS came out. And I realized, I have this repugnant person's products on their way. And it was while I was kind of doubting my choices in life that I came across Nikki Tutorials, and she's the one that was talking about Juvia's Place at the time.
I think that's where I learned about Juvia's Place as well.
She also is the reason that I know who P. Louise is because of the base. Because back then, it was just their base. There was no real makeup for P. Louise.
It was so hard to get the base here. Yeah. Hence me having a dupe from back in the day.
But I really loved Juvia's Place because it was as good, if not better, than anything Jeffree Star was doing. The pans and the palettes were bigger. The price point was a fraction of the cost. And let me just say, nobody sitting in the audience or across from you at work is looking at your face and going, L'Oreal. Do you know what I mean? No one's doing that. No one is doing that. So it doesn't matter what makeup you're wearing. It only matters to a group of people on the internet. And so I very quickly kind of started to have an opinion about makeup and how it was being promoted online. And when Chloe came, because I was starting to buy stuff I didn't need, and I think it reached a zenith with Glaminatrix. And that's when I realized I don't need it all on my face. And as much as I like some stuff, this is when I started going, you know what it was? It was Teresa Mulhern. She had, her reviews are so good. And the reason I found out about her was because she had got a lot of backlash from the Vivian on critiquing her palette, The Scepter, which did not sell out, has not been restocked, and is on deep discount on the Be Perfect site. So, take what you will from that. But Teresa just honestly said there's too many repeat colors and blah, blah, blah. And she got read by
hammered. Yeah.
the husband she had at the time that she's now left. And so that's how I got to know who Teresa was. And Teresa's reviews are so honest. This is the thing. The whole time she was saying what she was saying about the Vivian's makeup, she was saying, I really like the Vivian. And I really like she's Irish. Of course she likes to be perfect. But, she's being honest. And that's the thing. I was also realizing that so many people online, I love this. It's like, so you love everything. Okay. Calm down. But it helped me watching Teresa realize, oh, there's a lot of this color in that palette. I would always lock onto like the green or the blue or the one color. Like, ooh, look at that color. It could have been in a sea of brown and I wouldn't have noticed the brown. And then I get the palette and I look at it and go, oh, that's a lot of brown. And so Teresa helped me kind of discern early, like whether or not I want something. And I started looking at things like, oh, that's a lot of brown. And then I started looking at things like, oh, that's a rainbow palette. I have a rainbow palette. And I would open the rainbow palette and look at it. And even though I was looking at the other one online, it's just looking at colors. Like, okay, so because some rainbow palettes don't have a lot of blue, or some rainbow palettes don't have a lot of yellow, or, there's always something. So sometimes you can get a color or a shade in another palette that helps you round out your collection. You also want to ask yourself, why am I collecting this makeup? Like, there's no reason for you to have a reason, but what is your motivation? Do you just want it all and you want to sit in the middle of it and look at it all and wipe it on your arms?
Well, if you look at Teresa's makeup room, that she's never gotten and decluttered anything she's ever gotten. It's insane. Teresa, it's insane. Like, it's
but that's great
makeup that's 10 years ago, she still has it. Like, she's gotten rid of zero.
You know what I like about that is there's kind of like a
museum actually.
Yeah, like a curative quality to it, where it's like in another 20 years they're going to be turning to Teresa. It's like, oh, you know who would have that? Teresa Mulhern in Ireland. She'll have it.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Like, if you're talking about makeup that like started trends and things. But that's what I like about her. She was one of those people who was first. She'd open a palette and go, oh, this looks so much like, and she'd name some palette, and I'd be like, what? And I'd look that other palette up online and go, oh, she's so right. So she helped me develop an eye for the makeup I was buying. Do I need this? Or if I want to get this, why am I wanting this? Because I've also had that, and I'm sure you have as well, Chloe, where you get something and you completely regret your choices.
Oh,
like, it's just not what you want in your hot little hands, but at the time you were so like, ooh. So I try and keep that in mind a lot. Like,
that's what I'm trying to do now. But like, she reviews everything. But if I really can't get something to work, it's very rare that I post it. I try to keep it more towards the stuff I really like. But
I'll tell you that one video that didn't go well.
Yeah. But occasionally, yeah, especially if it's something that I'm really excited about and I talked about the release and then I go to use it. And I did 2 long videos with it and I couldn't get it to work. And then I gave it to a girl that loves it, that's in Teresa's group. And she did a look with it and then she was really excited. But when I was looking at it, I'm like, I still think it looks patchy. So she was happy to have it. So I'm like, okay. it's yours, take it, run with it, right? But yeah, no, I was so excited for that palette, but I could not get it go. Martha.
Anastasia says hello.
Oh, there's trouble in the room now. Hide your purse.
All right. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, and Psycho, I am still on. I'm not on an embargo. I'm on a no buy, and to be quite honest, I did buy a couple of things recently, which I'm going to have videos up for, just because I realized that there were a couple of things that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one of them because I saw the color story before I saw what it was, and I was like, I have to own that palette. It is a great palette with some great neon quality colors, hugely pigmented, bright, crazy colors, which speaks to my drag queen heart. I love that kind of stuff. And then I saw who did the palette, and it was oh, I just lost my train of thought. I looked at another makeup palette and I lost my train of thought.
the Glamlight one?
So it's the Rick and Morty palette. And I need to be honest with you, I have never watched Rick and Morty, mostly because the cartoon looks gross to me. You remember the Freak brothers that drew cartoons in the 70s?
Right.
As a young child in the 70s, they bothered me because they were very grotesque, like veiny eyeballs or unnecessarily large breasts or, ugly, weird teeth mouths. And it just was too much. So I find the Rick and Morty cartoon like that. And it just triggers me on I've heard my brother loves the show. I've sent him merchandise, Rick and Morty merchandise as a present. It's just not for me. And, but the palette is so gorgeous.
Looks good, yeah.
A friend of mine on YouTube, Erica Conger, it was out of stock apparently or some such thing. And it finally came back into stock. I'm just going into Hauntingly Glamorous, this fabulous pale color called Unpleasant Dreams. It's like a pale periwinkle. But anyway, she got it and I was watching her use it on her channel and I was immediately like,
and that one's on my list too.
Yeah. So I thought it was on the I Feel Beautiful website, and I thought, oh, there's a good reason to try them out because it wasn't that much more expensive. Again, I paid less for it than I would have if I bought it from Glamlight. I absolutely did. But it showed up. It is absolutely a beautiful palette. It's better looking in person, and so I can't wait to get that one going. But like that's one of those things where I avoided it, and it was because of the cartoon. I was just like, oh, I don't want a Glamlight Rick and Morty palette. Why does it have to be? Why can't they do that color story with anything else? Also, this is the thing I have a problem with Glamlight. They seem to be more focused on their collabs than their products. And I feel like some collabs are great. And then some, like so many people had problems with either the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Friday the 13th palette.
Yeah, I think it was because I have them, the two Freddy ones. I love them, and I thought they worked amazing, but I've seen a few people saying that they didn't like them. But I guess maybe it also depends on what you're using it for, like how you use it, because how you do makeup and how I do makeup are two different things, right? So there's things that I like that you don't, and probably vice versa, right?
Yeah. It's also what your makeup's for. Mine's for performance. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work or going, out for coffee. Yeah.
So I do that when I watch people and they do complain about something. I see how they use it, and then I can be like, oh, okay, in that way, yeah, I can see why it wouldn't work for you. Especially if it's something that I own, I'd be like, well, I got it to work. Why isn't it working for you? And then I'd be like, oh, okay, because you want to do this crazy out to here thing and whatever. But
and Chloe, this is one of the things that I love about our friendship and that I value in our friendship is that I know if I make a bad makeup choice, it's not going to waste. Because I'll tell you, I've watched you when you use the Glaminatrix palette while I was watching you.
Yeah.
Should buy that. You know, because you did some great work with it. And
yeah, that's one of my favorite palettes.
oh, Stephanie's trouble. How are you, Steph? Had long time no see or hear. Hope you're well and gorgeous as always.
Well, so far everything is working really good still. So it looks like these aren't going to make it into a declutter pile anytime soon.
I've used in this Winter Wonderland palette from P. Louise, I've used that color, and I'm just using this one to blend out the disco party blue. Just to, I like a nice transition. I don't like lines in my makeup, and sometimes things don't blend as well as they should. But these are all blending well. They're fairly pigmented. I also have issues about trying makeup from different palettes together. I don't know why, but in my head, I feel like they're not going to work.
I know. It's like everybody gets so, this palette has to do everything. I can't pull from another palette. And I'm like, for your review, I get that you shouldn't have to pull Willow, that you have to pull from
Willow the bird.
Yeah. But when you're just doing your general makeup, sometimes I do like I do here, pull a color here, pull a color there, if I'm just doing it for myself, right? But yeah, you always think that, Glaminatrix goes better with Glaminatrix, Juvia's Place goes better with Juvia's Place, because they should be similar formulas, right?
Yeah. Well, and now also there's another thing where a lot of companies, the labs that they use overlap. So different companies and similar labs for similar things, and that doesn't mean the makeup's the same, because color stories and that are all different. But it's interesting to realize, like, this is why I love when new companies come out. It's like, okay, well, where do they get, like, is this new all over, or is it just from the same kind of source but just different?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do use the same labs, but
why not? I get it. Like it's like, why invent the wheel? You know, when Jeffree Star started, Kat Von D took him to her lab, and that's where he got his lipstick formula. When he started, he
terrible lipstick formula. Oh my god.
Well, the thing about that lipstick formula is it was meant to do 40 things. You know, eyeliner. It was like, you know, it was a lot of stuff, and drag queens loved it because they don't have to be comfortable in the makeup.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It turns to gum on my lips.
Ugh.
Put it on, and then all of a sudden it's like, and you get big, long. Oh, it was disgusting. And then my friend who loved it was like, well, put it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, that makes it stop. And then I put it in the fridge, and I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And then it gave an extra minute and a half before it turned to gum.
If I have to store my makeup somewhere special, it's too much trouble.
Yeah, that and the brand that Doe Deer used to own, I can never remember it, that everybody loved. And same thing too, the shittiest liquid lipstick. It must be the same lab as Jeffree Star's, or Jeffree Star made it for them, because it was the same thing. You put it on, and all of a sudden you're like it feels like you're peeling gum off, that you know, when you're a kid and you rub gum on you're playing with your gum and it gets all over your lips. It's like that. It was so gross. It was like, how does anybody say that this is?
I'm nodding, going, yeah. It's like, what is she talking about? How did you chew gum?
You know, when you blow bubbles and then it bursts and then it gets kind of on your lips and then you're trying to get it off.
Yeah,
it was
I
like
understand what you're saying.
Like
Yeah,
it was like that.
Yeah, I didn't like his lipstick, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I never tried his stick one, because it was funny how you were saying you bought it and then there was the controversy. There was controversy round one, and then I was like, whoa, not buying from that guy. Then it seemed to kind of right itself, and he seemed like he was on a better trajectory. And then I ordered the one palette, and then the second pile of crap came out, and it was like, and that was the same thing. It's like, oh crap, now I have this stupid palette, which was nice, and then I ended up taking it all out, depotting it, and I thought, well, then I can use a color or two here, and then I ended up throwing it out. So I barely used it too, because it was it was the one that was all reds.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
blood sugar.
Yeah, and then then years later he released that all green one, Money something, and then it was like, oh my, that almost broke me. That I almost caved into that, but I'm like, nope,
No,
nope.
I'm not
He's an ass hat. Nope.
No, I don't know when he's released. Like, I don't follow him at all, so I don't know when anything is going on.
Sylvia loves him, so every time he's got something new, she'll post.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she doesn't care about
Sylvia Manro?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah. Well,
she's just
like,
a makeup fan. She doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care. It's makeup. It's makeup. It's not the. And I get in one way, yes, because if you hate on a brand so much that they have to close down, it's not just them, it's all their employees, right, that work for them that lose a job. So sometimes I think that, so to me it depends on what the drama is. If it's something really icky, then no, come hell or high water, I'm not buying it. But if it's just a shipping drama, or they used an influence, because Juvia's Place a few times has used influencers that have done something stupid and then they've had to go, oh, oops, right? So it's like, yeah. So I mean, if an influencer does something stupid, how is that all the brand's fault, right? Stuff like that. So it depends on what the drama is that'll make me not buy, right?
Well, I always look at it this way: like, there are people out there that are staunch vegan, no cruelty to animals.
I try that too.
And that's a good reason. That's a good reason. But I also think that if somebody's an asshole who's also prejudiced and
exactly
misogynist and elitist, and like, there's I'll tell you one thing: Jeffree Star walking through his mansion in his tracksuits talking about everything is like, why do I want to watch this? But I also was not a fan of his. Like, I knew a little about him before, and so when it all kind of hit the fan, I my big thing was, I wish I trusted myself. Do you know what I mean? But I also didn't realize that makeup is makeup. Like, as a theater makeup user, that's heavy duty.
Yeah.
Put that on your face, it's staying there till you make an effort to take it off. So a lot of the street makeup, which I also wore, but it was, I wore it for different things, was not something I ever paid attention to. And now I know far too much about makeup. I just want to say, one thing that I was, an old thing that I had was, I was gifted a while back by my makeup enabler, David Burkett, a bunch of P. Louise tinted bases.
I have the yellow one. That yellow one is super nice.
Yeah, these were all their kind of like Easter ones. These were all pastel-y. So the green is kind of a blue green. The blue is kind of a periwinkle. The orange isn't very intense. The purple's soft, and the yellow's almost chartreuse. But I'm using the yellow base today because this is old makeup.
Yeah.
I constantly have to remind myself that I have these.
I have because it was so hard to get P. Louise, I have the green one, the purple one, I have a yellow one, I have this white one, and a blue one that are dupes that I got off of, I don't know what website it was. They're really good, actually. And then I have now a few from P. Louise, which are a bit better, but the dupes are just as good. And since this is my oldest one that I have open, that's what I use. I'm trying to do everything my oldest that I either have open or is old. Because some things I use one or two at a time, so they're never going to be old, like this, the Believe primer. But some of the stuff here I have is really old.
Yeah, I was going to say something about old stuff that I have.
Like this from Shein. I sent you one of them too, the foundation.
Yes. I love that foundation.
Oh yeah, I had it for a while too. I was comparing it to the Danessa Myricks, and I used the Danessa Myricks up, and then I was at Sephora like last month, and I ended up buying a new one. So I thought, well, before I open that, maybe I should use the dupe. And then I used it the other day, and I was like, oh, I forgot how nice this is. And you just need a little bit. Like, you just put your sponge in, like, doop.
It's amazing. It really is. Full coverage. Nice. Yeah, I love that.
You need and it's like, it doesn't look like it's a lot in the package, but it's literally one boop on your sponge, and your whole face is done. Like,
now this is the only cream product I'm using that is old, and it seems to be like no smell. It seems to be going on good. The pigmentation's all right.
Yeah, the primers last a long time because, like I said, I've had these dupe P. Louise ones like probably 3 years now, and it's still.
Oh,
fun.
I know what I was going to say. I love P. Louise. You know I do.
Mhm.
Although I will be the first to say, stop it with the ridiculous packaging. And
Yeah.
I don't like them having 16-year-olds on their TikTok and Instagram feeds blabbing about this and about that and the babes. Shut up.
Yeah.
Sell the makeup or F off. I don't need to be part of your slumber party. Like,
Fantastic.
yeah, they're really moving into this like teenage dream makeup store, and I can see myself not bothering with them soon because they just did their August. This is a spoiler. Their August budget box has a pink primer, a pink something primer. It's not pink. It's just called in the pink primer or something like that. And then there's a palette called Does It Come in Pink? And it's a nice big 30-pan palette of pink tones. And two contour or bronzer, liquid bronzers. And P. Louise says, "Oh, there are always new products. They're never previously released." That primer I got last year in something, and the Does It Come in Pink? I remember I bought a budget box because that one was in it.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand what P. Louise is doing. Like,
I think maybe she means not released that you can go on the website all year and buy it. Maybe that was.
So now they've turned into a budget box palette they made last year that's been sitting there for a year.
Yeah, or that could be too. Martha told me what was in it because she sent me the TikTok link because they always do the things on TikTok, but I won't sign up. And TikTok used to let you look at something without signing up. Now it makes you want to sign up, and I'm like, no, thank you, never. It's not happening. If there's a cute animal video, it'll be on Instagram, so I don't have to worry about that, right?
And that's where I saw the release because Martha sent me that link as well. Sorry, I'm blocking you. Martha sent me that link as well, and I didn't bother because it's TikTok, and I'm not 8. And I knew that it would be on Instagram by the end of the day, and it was. And that's when I saw the product. I was like, I think I even said something on another. Oh, they had another one of their annoying. These people that work at P. Louise. There's this one big guy with pink hair who's a hoot and a holler, I suppose. He annoys the hell out of me. But most of the girls there are overly tanned. Like they've all gone to Paige Louise's beautician.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah, they're.
They have this dead straight hair, and then they have all of this highlight on their face. It makes their face look white in the middle, and not a smile on their face. They're either Botox to high heaven, or they're just too cool to do that. But they stand there with a little lav mic in their hand, right here, like this. All right, babes. It's like no smile. It's like stop talking. So why don't you learn to talk to adults before you talk on camera?
That's
I hate them so much.
It's a certain part of England, and they're called chavs. And it's yeah. So I always when I see those girls, I'm like, ooh, chavtastic. It's like, and it's a lot of the traditional one is the scraped back hair, the big hoop earrings, the overplucked brows, and then the super beigey lips.
Yeah, no, I'm over them.
I was tempted about I signed up for the big advent calendar that you can do.
Oh yeah.
But I
ordered it?
No. It came, I signed up for the list. It came up that it's open, and then I was like, even with 4 payments or whatever, I'm like, nah, it's too much. But Beauty Bay is having a advent calendar, so I was like, maybe that one.
They've done an advent calendar before?
I think so, yeah. So it's going to come up next month. I think it comes, or later this month it'll come up. So if it's not like $300 or something, then maybe I might get the Beauty Bay one, so I can do one.
Well, also, I'd love to guarantee that Beauty Bay isn't going to put stuff they've already done in it because I have everything I want from Beauty Bay. And quite frankly, their last couple of releases were awful.
Oh, I had the last palette. I didn't want it at first. I was like, I don't know if that's looking like my color story. And then I watched my name twin I went on her Sunday tea, and it was like, oh shit. And while I was watching her, I had to order it. And it's really good.
I'm going into the Midas Cosmetics Lemonade palette, and I'm going to grab this yellow here on the.
I hope yours is
side.
still good because mine still works amazing, like it did since the beginning. So I hope yours.
I don't know. I've used this before, but I haven't used it in a year. I'll tell you.
Yeah. No.
Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Joanne Robertson.
Kiwi!
I used it last week, so I use it once or twice a month minimum.
Great. Oh, look at this. I'm so sorry, but look at how intense.
Right? That is the best yellow palette. Nobody can convince me that ColourPop did anything better.
Oh, ColourPop can.
They're terrible. I do not understand how people are like, oh my god, I love ColourPop.
Because they're 8 years old and they don't know. These are people who just sit there with their mouths open at the computer screen waiting for whoever the next great hope is to tell them what to buy.
Oh, it's
like, make
awful.
a decision for yourself, you Luddites.
That girl that I like, Lynn, who always does makeup looks to her jewelry.
Oh my god.
He loves ColourPop, and it's just like, why? It's awful.
But here's the thing. I don't know if you've noticed this, but every decluttering video
is
of somebody who's a bit of an influencer, and they like, oh, I got my shipment from ColourPop haul. Everything they're decluttering is 50% ColourPop.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because it's garbage. It either doesn't work, or if it's good, it breaks 2 seconds. Like, I've never had a lip liner that went past 2 uses before falling out.
Yeah.
Like, it's awful. And then their lipstick.
They're terrible.
Their lipsticks
also, they make Kylie's lip products. Did you know that? Their lab?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kylie
Though they use a different formula because I don't.
Yeah, but they still make it.
Yeah.
So they're capable of making better products.
I think they used to before they sold to Cody because I think they belong to Cody.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But
I have
grudging ColourPop, but
yeah, no, I have one of the lip kits. It came to London Drug. No, Shoppers Drug Mart ended up getting the Kylie, so I ordered one online one time, and it's fine. It's nice, but it's not anything better than any other drugstore liquid lip, right? Yeah, that yellow is fabulous.
Yeah, that's just that one shade. I'm also going to use, because there are yellows in, there's a yellow or two in here.
I have yellows in other palettes, and some of them are okay, but that palette by Midas, like I said, I'm going to use it until the wheels fall off with that one.
Yeah.
It is literally my ride or die palette for yellow.
Just some of the shimmers from in here.
Like, look.
This one's more gold. Oh, that's better.
I mean, that would probably be my oldest Midas palette that I have.
Yeah.
But because I have three, 4, 5 of their palettes. No, I quite like them. The only thing I didn't get was the Smoky Glow palette. I think is one of the few ones that I didn't get.
So I'm just curious in the chat if anyone has like a ride or die palette, the way that Chloe just mentioned. Any ride or dies out there? Oh
yeah, who's got a palette that they use every day? They would replace in a heartbeat if something happened.
Try it from like cold.
I'm trying to think if I have one. I don't really think I do. I think my favorite palette is whatever the latest one is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like that too. I'm really liking the Blair MUA one, Blair Dale.
Oh
one.
yeah, that was a great palette.
Yeah, that's a great little palette. I got the Moon Slice one, the Blue Moon. The video is going to go up on Monday. I'm doing a second look because one of the colors was kind of patchy, but I'm thinking this primer I'm like scraping off the edges of it. So I'm wondering if it's this's fault that the one color wasn't working. So I'm going to try look using a different primer and then seeing if it does any different. But by the end of the once I put the shimmers and everything on, it looked amazing and it lasted all day long. So it's a good little palette. And then the Dale one lasted. Blair Dale lasted all day too. That one did actually really good.
Nice. I'm using Jolie Cosmetics glitter gel, fixed gel.
Oh yeah, that's
And
the one thing you liked that I sent you.
You sent me this with that crappy palette of it. Let me just say this. Jolie's having a sale. They have a
I
sale. I got these
know. I
for
loved them.
$3.
I
They're
know.
usually
I loved
$7,
it.
but
Mhm.
this is the only thing they sell that's worth buying.
Yeah, I
It-
haven't
it's
been
so
brave
good.
enough. I haven't been brave enough to try to. I mean, I like the blushes that I got; they were fine. The lipstick was fine, just weird colors. But when you're I get it, mystery bag. But if you want to showcase one of your palettes, an all glitter palette is not the way to go. I still cannot tell you if their eyeshadows are any good because
You said
if they would have
you
sent me
said that.
a quad, right, plus the glitters, I'd be okay, right?
Yeah.
But glitters.
Yeah.
Glitters. How many was in there? Like 40 glitters? It wasn't even
Yeah,
small.
yeah, it was a lot. And the thing that bothered me about it was that they were not even interesting colors. Like there was brown glitter.
Mm-hmm.
Who's using brown glitter? I mean, maybe if you're an MUA who does a lot of weddings, but even still, there are better formulas than this.
Yeah.
This was awful. I would have been better to have put glue on my face and sprinkled glitter on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just awful. And I tried, but I threw it out. I didn't even want to give it to anyone else. And then I also had did they have a zombie palette it was a weird palette that was a lot of neon colors. And I got that one and it was awful.
Oh, was it? Okay. I haven't tried
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I just didn't like it. I have this thing. This was also sent to me by David Burkett. P. Louise does their own pigments. They come in like a little heart.
They look really cool. Paul has a question here. It says here, did any of you have the Urban Decay Naked One palette back in the day? Yes, I did.
I would never buy Urban Decay.
And funny story, I used the first 2 shades to like literally panned, and I used nothing else in the palette. And then I ended up actually just buying the first shade that's in there. You could buy it as singles. I think for like 3 or 4 years I bought the singles and I panned them because it was the perfect brow bone blending shade. But the rest of the shades I didn't end up use them once or twice. But other than that, it went off like 3 or 4 years later, and then I got rid of it. But first 2 shades I really liked. I liked in the Urban Decay.
The only thing I got from Urban Decay was their primer, their eye primer, and it was awful.
Oh, that's
dried up my eyelids. It was awful. And the other thing was their palettes. I would never buy their palettes because they were just so boring.
Well, that's what it is. It's just for Sephora girls, right?
Yeah, and I get it. It wasn't for me, and I'm not judging it. I'm just saying I never. There was no reason for me to buy any of their stuff.
Yeah, when I was starting pinup, that was because you would do mostly your beautiful winged eye look, but you would just have like a teeny neutral eyeshadow, and then you would do your winged look, your mascara, and your big red lip. So for that, it was good, but now I like color, right? So once I discovered Juvia's Place and started using color, it's kind of like I didn't go back to really neutral palettes.
Yeah.
Joanne was saying that she usually keeps the Nubian palette by her desk for touch-ups between meetings. And
that's a
Darcy
good
was saying
too.
that she used to have a triple from Chanel called Canyons that was a ride or die, but they discontinued it. I hate it when they discontinue something.
Oh, that's the
love
worst
it.
when they discontinue stuff.
Well, when Chanel changed they used to have, you could get single eyeshadows and they looked like they're quilted handbags. They were quilted. They lasted forever. I would go and I would pay that $35 or $40 for that one single. And I was using it for the next year, every single freaking day. And it would take, and then they changed it to regular eyeshadow, like not quilted. And then it was no bueno anymore. But when they did the original one, the quilted ones, they were so good.
That's the thing. If you're using the product, then good for you. But you spend all that money and then you're not doing anything?
Yeah. All right. So I used my oldest contour palette. So that was from Kaleidos. So I used that. still works good. And then for blushes, one of the oldest I have is a Kaleidos Duo blusher, and like that. And then I have a Cover FX, like that. And everybody went nuts over the Cover FX ones. And then my other oldest is Juvia's Place, the Saharan Blush Palette 2. You sent me one, but 2 was the one that I bought back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good palette.
That's a great palette. So I think I'm going to use this one. I think. Actually, I'm going to use 2. I'm going to use the light pink from this one, and then I'm going to use the little shimmery one from this one, and that way I can test if 2 are still good.
Just using the darkest, almost like a brown.
Yeah, I like that one too.
A lemonade shade just to blend out this yellow.
It's like a mustard.
Mm-hmm. A goldy mustard, yeah. Yeah, not French's, more what is that? The Poupon? Dijon.
Yeah, that little tin.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, powder products definitely last a lot longer.
Yeah, these I'm not having any problems with anything yet.
Yeah, like this is at least 3 years old too, I think. Doing good. So I like Cover FX, another good Canadian brand.
Is that right?
Yeah, they do for makeup artists, but you can buy. And if you go and you buy stuff on their website, usually get tons of freebies. Like my favorite highlighting brick highlighter brick is from them. I got for free. Like you always get 2 free, like full-sized, awesome full things when you buy stuff.
Joanne was saying in terms of ride or die, moving away from palettes, there are some lipsticks from MAC, Cyber from MAC, and Sin from MAC. I think MAC also recently they're doing re-releases. They had some color lipsticks that had been discontinued, but they're doing a special re-release of highly requested lipstick colors that are coming back right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I could confirm that they stopped animal testing, but they belong to Estee Lauder, who animal tests. Because I used to love MAC when they used to just sell at places where you would get theatrical makeup, and a lipstick tube was like $7. Like that's
right before they were purchased.
Yeah, I used to love MAC, but then when Estee Lauder bought them, and I heard that they've stopped animal testing in China. I'm not 100%, but Shelby says that they've had. So if I could confirm that MAC was cruelty-free, I would definitely go back and try. They had a few that I really liked back in the day. I actually have a lip pencil. Oh, I should have brought that out as my oldest lip pencil. It's like 30 years old and it's a MAC. I kept it.
I have to say, I think my only ride or die thing that I own is the Beat lip liner from MAC.
If it's
just a good color. It's like between red and pink.
If it's lipstick, it's the Besame Red, which I've got a new one coming. So that's my favorite red. So I brought that out today. And then if it's a pink, it would be, as you can tell, Pat McGrath. And that's the only one that I've ever bought full price. So luckily I got her the re-up for $9 on one of her sales. But yeah, this is. It is. Hold on, let me put glasses or something on. It is called something rose. Oh, soft core, and it's from her matte trance. It is the best pink. Like I always have it in my purse, so if I just need something.
Right, nice.
Yeah, it's super pretty. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
And then I did.
Fashion house now that owns their makeup is Chanel. Everything else is owned by Louis Vuitton for Estee Lauder.
Yeah. Estee Lauder's a little bitch. She buys everything and wrecks everything. Well, like my favorite perfume of all time is Emma by Laura Ashley. I love it. They had 2 perfumes, Emma and Number One, and Number One stinks to high heaven. Emma, every time I have a little bit left, I might wear some today. I always get comments, oh my God, you smell so good. Estee Lauder buys Laura Ashley, and what do? Discontinue Emma and keep the stinky Number One. And now I think
the thing about Estee Lauder too. It's like you're a makeup company buying other makeup companies. Why aren't you making them better?
Yeah.
Why, like you own this company, you want to make them worse so your actual brand name sells better? Like, come on.
Yeah. Bobbi Brown has a new brand now, Darcy.
Yeah.
I'd like to try that balm stuff because I'm obsessed with balm things. I'd like to test it, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, I don't trust anything that's expensive.
Coming from the person who spent $56 on a Danessa Myricks face balm, so should I really be complaining that it's expensive?
I think the only way you can complain about spending that kind of money is if you bought it and don't use it.
Oh no, I used it up. I have a new. I'm gonna do a video doing like a more, I guess, like a Sephora one. So because I bought the balm blush, so I had to dig hard to try and find a bougie eyeshadow palette because I got rid of all my Pat McGrath. I got rid of all my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. And then I was watching Alexis's Declutter, and then she did what's her name? Oh crap! Now I lost her name. Crap! That everybody. Oh, Natasha Denona. And I was like, oh yeah, I have 2 of the little ones. One I bought and one I got from Darcy. And I'm like, okay, I have 2 bougie eyeshadow palettes that I can do a bougie video for.
Darcy sent me a Natasha Denona mini palette as well. And I love the color, so I haven't used it yet. But I can't wait.
You should. Only her little palettes. I had one of the midi palettes. I gave it to Martha. I used it like 2 times. I got it in a Beautylish bag, and it's pretty, but it's just really, really daywalker. So I gave it to Martha. Liked it, so okay, you have it. But the black and white mini one I have, and the one that Darcy sent me that was kind of like oranges with a blue that I really like. Her 5-pan palettes are the best, and I've never tried her big ones because they're like $250, $300.
No, I'm not buying that.
I'm not going to try those because the mid one was sucked ass. But her small ones, if anybody's gonna ever spend money on Natasha Denona, the 5-pan palettes are the way to go. Everything else, I give it a big old miss.
I was talking to Teresa about P. Louise and smaller packets. They have these. They also have the startup palettes, the series. They're all little.
Yeah.
And these formulas, Teresa noticed, do better than the bigger packaging formulas. I don't know myself. I haven't noticed a difference because I don't. I
haven't noticed a difference either. And Darcy, you know what? That's cool. It could have been you could have got it 50 cents at a swap meet. They're awesome palettes. I love.
Oh yeah, no. Never tell anyone how much you spent on something that you paid for. Let them think it was full price. Don't be worried. Yeah.
But they're awesome.
I'm not a Little Mermaid person, but Plunker 1990 is saying, Wilma, your eye makeup reminds me of Flounder from The Little Mermaid.
The blue and the yellow, right?
All right, oldest highlighters. So I have from Fenty Beauty, I have the How Many Carats.
Ooh.
I had to have it. It's more like a topper. It's getting old and hard pans. I might have to. There you go. Yeah, but you can put it like on your collarbone and whatever. You can just literally cover your body in it. It's so beautiful. So I have that one. And then speaking of bougie, from Charlotte Tilbury.
Ooh, Charlotte Tilbury.
Magic Star. I bought one. I love her face stuff. That I don't mind spending the money. And her lipsticks are one of my favorite formulas, but that's the highlighter. This one's it's nice. It's just a little darker. And then my other because I don't have as many with highlighters because the original ones that I always bought, the Urban Decay, they used to make a really good Urban Decay highlighter. My Ofra ones I always pan. The Urban Decay ones I always pan. what's that? There's a drugstore brand that I like. I always pan their highlighters. So I don't have a lot older ones, but I have this one from the Alva collection from Odin's Eye. And then I have these ones. So these are probably my oldest.
I'm trying to think what my oldest highlighter is. You know what? I know what it is. It's this one here. It's from Juvia's Place. It's a loose one, and I barely ever used it. It's the
yeah, I had to declutter my one that I got loose
the
from them
heroin.
because
It's the heroin.
it was way too dark. Yeah, you sent me that one. I think you sent me that one, or I got it in a
I
mystery
sent you
bag.
one. I had two of them.
Yeah. But the original one I had that would have been the oldest, I finally decluttered because it was twice as dark as that. But it didn't look that dark when it was online.
Yeah.
When I bought it, it was like I could use it as an eyeshadow topper, and then that was it.
Right.
So I think I'm going to use a little diamond bomb on the middle of my eye. Get a little extra. Yes.
You're right. I almost grabbed. I have a squeezy bottle of rubbing alcohol that I spray on my brushes, and unfortunately, setting spray. So thank God I looked.
And then I'm going to use that one there for highlighter.
I have to fan myself. I have to fan myself. I need to dry off just a little bit. I got this fabulous fan from some annoying person who won't leave me alone online as a part of the housewarming package. This is a fan made. Thank you, Chloe. This was a fan made by a company named Dirt Squirrel, and I always refer to these heavy fans as a dirt squirrel. You know, oh, I love your dirt squirrel. Like, what are you talking about? But you can. Yeah, I also. This is my Madonna move. Hold on.
Oh, well done!
Oh, yay!
Yeah. Yeah, don't get in my way.
Your closing ceremony.
Have we been watching the Olympics? I haven't.
I have.
No.
Because I'm watching women's weightlifting. That's my thing. And actually, it should be on right now. The categories is on right now. So when we're done here this afternoon, I'm gonna go watch a replay of
that
women's weightlifting.
Mm.
I only ever like anything to do with the horses, or in winter the figure skating. Other than that, the rest of it,
I like gymnastics too.
not for me. I used to when I was little, but now I'm not so much into seeing girls that are starving to death do sports. Oh, I do. There's so much.
I really enjoy seeing the strength of like how strong the weightlifters are, and the one thing that I really love about watching them, particularly the women, is they all, even though it's an individual sport, they all seem to really be rooting for each other. Like I really like watching the camaraderie between them. And what I also love is there just seems to be such a breadth of the way that all of the weightlifting women present themselves. You have everything from people who go out and they weightlift in full drag. Like they have a full face of makeup, their hair is done, their nails are done.
Yeah. And
like,
then those pictures of them holding it, like, but they're fully made with those arms and shoulders. And like,
Yeah. And then you have those other weightlifters that, lean into a more, I'm just going to say what would be considered a traditionally masculine appearance, and have like a short cropped hair look or have like a very clean face look, but they're all there together rooting for each other.
Yeah.
And that's totally what I love about it, is just like all of these women being strong in different ways.
Well, that's what sports is supposed to be, sportsmanship, right? Yeah, yes, you're competing and you want to win and be the best person, but you can do that while being a good person, right?
100%.
Yeah. There was a little video online I saw yesterday, and I don't know if it was from this Olympics or what, but a female soccer player was down, and everyone was kind of standing around her, and they were trying to help her up. And a couple of I don't know if a medic or a ref or something, but they were trying to. And she couldn't walk. Something had happened with her foot or her ankle, and this other member of the other team, who didn't even seem to be on the field playing, kind of walked into the situation and picked her up and carried her off the field. And it had something to do with like compassion or sportsmanship. It was that.
Right.
But it's like
Yeah.
they're human. Like
Yeah.
Well, it was like a girl from another country was put in the Olympics last minute and didn't have a bike, and then the German team gave her a bike. Like, right? Like that's how sports should be, right? Or that's what we're taught sports should be.
Well, speaking of the Olympics, Martha wants to know our opinion if we saw that French high jumper, that vaulter.
yes,
That poor fella that hurt themselves.
with his huge penis that pulled the bar down with him.
Yeah, his full mac and cheese hit the rail.
I got that dedicated to memory.
That's like, ow.
I'll be buying a paint by numbers set.
I mean, for an Olympic fail, he's got to be one of the happiest men in the
Right?
world right now. Papa's packing. So I just want to say, I went into the festival palette and I used this color first on my blush and then this color more in the pocket. And I'm just going back in now with the Queen palette with that color to deepen the outer. I like to use contour as a blush as a contour. I feel it gives you a more natural dimension.
Mm.
What about your unnatural dimensions, Wilma?
Oh well, those would be the ones that knock down high vault
Oh
poles.
my goodness.
I don't have an old contour palette. I did have some, but I either give. I don't like living in a bachelor apartment for so long. Kept me from collecting too much, and
Right.
I'm also not that person. I don't like too much unnecessary. It distracts me. So I absolutely do not have any of my old contour palettes, but the first one I had was the NYX one, which was excellent. And then Be Perfect there was this duo, these South, I don't know if they were Pan-Asian, I don't know if they were, where they were, if they were Filipino, I don't know, but these two boys, they weren't brothers, but they created, it was called Shape and Sculpt. There were these, it was the most obnoxious packaging. It was a narrow thing for the contour and a bigger thing for the blush, and they magneted together into one big palette. But they still opened separately, and you couldn't have them both together because it was unnecessary. Like they wouldn't stay like that. So it was a gimmick to sell it,
Right.
but it didn't do anything
Not
to have it.
practical.
But the thing that was great about these palettes was they were deeper tones. So they had like a yellow and an orange in the blush palette that were good. Like they would show up on a good complexion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're richer browns than that in the contour palette. And I loved the palette, but it was just, I think something better came along for me. Right now I'm using the P. Louise palette from the Advent calendar last year. It's all little gingerbread men, but that's a good palette.
Yeah.
But I gave that palette to Wilhelmina, and she's using it right now. And because she was using the NYX palette, and I don't know if it was old or it's just not as pigmented as other brands, but it just wasn't doing what it needed to do. So I ended up giving her that one, and now she's like not using as much makeup, but getting twice the payoff. So
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I stopped buying the contour and whatever palettes and even bronzers, I'm just going to use up what I have and then I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm using
Yeah.
them less and less and just doing more blushy looks. So,
Yeah.
But I need to use the ones I have because I have a Juvia's Place one, I have that Kaleidos one, and then I've got 3 or 4 single different bronzers.
Right.
So
Sha'Carri Richardson is amazing, Psycho Space Cadet.
Who is Sha'Carri?
She's an athlete.
Ah. So I don't have a contour palette here, but I think that what I will do
Sports, I run if chase.
use HOE again from here, from the
Mhm.
Alyssa Edwards
Oh,
Anastasia palette. I'm just gonna.
Ooh, I poke myself in the eyeball. Oh.
Don't do that. It's like you don't know.
Well, I'm finishing it up because it's a teeny weeny Charlotte Tilbury sample, but I finally bought an adult sized Essence mascara the other day.
Oh, nice.
I thought I had an extra one. It ended up being an eyeliner, so it's like, okay, well, this is all I got right now. So, but I don't want to open a new one until I finish this one up. So,
Yeah,
ooh,
I was having mascara issues. Normally, I just get the Maybelline green and pink one, the big one.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I just was running. I ran out. I don't use a lot of mascara, like because I wear false eyelashes. But
Yeah.
I was just trying to find a mascara, and then Darcy sent me a sample. I got something else from somebody, and it was like all of a sudden now I have all these mascaras. I'm afraid to open any of them because I don't want them all open, right?
Yeah. Because they're only supposed to be good for a month. But I find that mascaras, doesn't matter how good your brand is, it's just before they die is when they're the best. Like
Yeah.
the last week of life, they work the best. So okay, lipstick. So I have that Pat McGrath I showed. I have the Besame. I of course have the traditional Fenty Stunna red. If you want to do red.
that's a fave.
Yeah, I like it. I'm out of my love affair with liquid lips are mostly out, but I do like this one, and I've been loving the Likely Makeup formula. And then I have these from Odin's Eye, so I want to do more neutral. So I'm trying to pick my oldest.
This is a concealer that I got recently, so this is not new. Like the oldest concealer, I use concealer all the time, so it's not ever old, but it's Juvia's Place is the one I use. But this one was on sale, and it's got this Jeffree Star top to it, but it's Capuvini.
No, I like
anyway. This isn't bad.
One. Yeah, I like the Sephora. Well, I like the Sephora gel one. I finally found a concealer that worked, and now they've discontinued it, and they've got some other ones. So I don't know if it's as good. So, and it's the only one that I've liked so far. Most concealers don't work for me, and I finally find one, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to discontinue that for you." Thanks.
Yeah. Chloe liked it. Get rid of it.
Yep.
You bastards.
Well, if Revlon would ever bring back their Rich Raisin Frost.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, my friend was like, when I was younger, she's like, if you all of a sudden died and they opened up your stomach, it's going to be full of Rich Raisin Frost. And I'm like, wow. And so when it was a limited edition shade. And then when they discontinued it, I went to every drugstore and I bought every tube. And I think it lasted like 4 or 5 years, the same lipstick.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but I've never found anything close enough to it. Yeah, Besame wins always. Still smells good, still works good, because I have so many Besame ones. This is sticks around in my purse. It's got you can't even read the name on it anymore. It's all scratched up. They made my favorite foundation stick. I went through, I don't know, like 8 of them, and then they stopped making them too.
Oh no!
And then
that's terrible.
And they make my now new favorite perfume, 1930. So they have ones that they find old perfumes and old makeup, and then they recreate it. So
fun!
So they have 20, 30, 40, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I have the 20s, 30s, and 40s, but 30s is my favorite. So I have one, and then
What does it smell like? What does the 30 smell like?
it's a little musky, but still has a little bit of flower sweet to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Ambery. It's really nice. Yeah, they had a crazy sale where I got it for like $5.
I was going to point out that Martha was saying that she's totally with you, that mascara is always best right before it dries out.
Yep. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like the Essence one, the black with the green, is my favorite. And it works good from the beginning, but it's still that last week of life where then you get the perfect, fluffiest, nicest lashes. And I have almost 0 lashes. So the fact that it at least makes it look like I've got some kind of lashes is good. All right, I think I need some earrings. I'm gonna go find
So what do
some.
you think the trick is? To open them and then put them back for a couple weeks?
Yeah, I guess if you only want to spend your mascara to use it for a week, I guess. But yeah, that's why I like the Essence one. It's pretty good from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, she's getting there.
Nice back.
I was going to put a bit of contour across my forehead.
Oh, Martha Grindwald is with us now.
Oh,
Hi,
Martha!
Oh, we're up early. Have we had coffee? Have we had coffee yet? I actually haven't.
I'm having a big old Timmy's right now.
I was enough to have a smoothie just before we start a protein
I
shake.
can't believe I'm drinking black coffee.
Hmm?
I'm drinking black coffee. I don't hate black coffee, but I don't drink it a lot.
Black coffee, I like it when it's iced.
Yeah, me too.
Iced black coffee, no sugar, no nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. Occasionally, depending, I'll put a teeny bit of milk in if I'm feeling that I want it a little bit more creamy. But usually, just a plain black coffee, iced coffee is my favorite.
You know what I love is that silk cashew cream. Oh, that's great in coffee.
Yeah.
I feel like nut milks do. It sounds so gross. I'm so sorry, but I feel like nut milks do better in coffee than just about. Oh, they're not bad on cereal either. But I just really like the way they.
Except for almond milk makes coffee taste weird.
Yeah, no. Almond milk sucks.
Like I don't to like bake with or something, then I don't mind almond milk, but to drink it or to put it in coffee, no bueno.
This is the mascara I'm using right now. Darcy sent it to me. I don't know if it's a sample size or what, but it's the Bang.
Big Bang? Yeah, that's a Benefit? Is that Benefit? What's the Benefit? Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, again, I put my lashes on and then I use the mascara just so you don't see the white powder in my eyelashes. Like it's not.
I did bring lashes.
You had better have brought lashes. You're working with me today.
Yeah, for Benefit, I was in San Francisco and they had just opened and they had a little store that was the size of literally a closet. And then they had in the corner, they had their little display of the 5 items they carried at the time. And I remember bringing some back and it was like, ooh, look at this new makeup brand. And that was like 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so here's
known for
brows.
brows.
This is my lip liner. This is my MAC Beat. How small it is. But these pencils are usually quite long. I don't mind spending that money. It lasts me forever. I've had this easily a year.
Oh, mine's, I have to grab mine. Mine, I think, is like 30 years old at this point. Where is it? I don't even know if they make a color anymore.
Oh, thanks, Martha. Martha's saying that both of you are looking lovely.
Lies! I've been trying to not change for change's sake, but I'm always trying to improve my makeup. And we just finished All Stars 9, and Chanel was back. And Chanel, I think, is as good a makeup artist, if not better, than Raven.
Yeah, great.
And so I really enjoyed the behind this, like the workroom footage of her getting her makeup on. And I have a lot of screen grabs that I compiled of her at different stages of makeup application, just to get the sense of how she does it. And so I've been doing my eyes a bit more like hers. And as I say, this little British drag queen, her something black. I'm going to look her up because I feel like she needs to be told.
Okay, so you can tell my Mac one, which is called Rosewood. I don't know if they still make it. It was when it was still made in Germany.
Oh, wow.
So it's old, yeah. And I have makeup brushes from them when they still made them in France. So those are also like in their 30 years old, but it's still good. I found it and then I sharpened it and it was like, still smells good, still works good. So I still have it. Yeah. And it has to be from the 90s for sure. I would say it's the last time I probably bought MAC. Or, well, maybe, yeah, like 99, 98, 99, maybe might have been the last time I bought MAC. So it's at least that old. But, yeah, all right.
Martha, you're watching The Big Lebowski at the same time as you're watching us. I admire you. And also, I watched The Big Lebowski again this week, but I watched it in Italian because I'm trying to practice my Italian.
Are you going to Italy?
Oh, nice.
No, I'm just working on my language skills.
Good. I always try to learn languages, but my memory is super shoddy, so it never seems to stick.
I don't have many interests, so I'm just trying to stick with something that maybe will keep my brain healthy.
Yeah,
I'm going to treat it like a game. Like other people play Angry Birds, I play Duolingo.
There you go. Yeah, I think I tried learning Italian, tried to learn Spanish, tried to learn Norwegian.
Oh, Martha was saying that Chanel is stunning. She said on Roscoe, she taught the girls tricks, and you can see the changes in the show.
Yeah, you totally can. I felt Nina by the end of the season had a softer look on her.
Definitely.
When is the original one going to be back on?
Original what?
Like season 17?
Drag Race, the American.
I feel like that won't happen till next year because they already did season 16. They usually do it in the beginning of the year. But next week, on the 16th of August, the Global All-Stars starts.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because there is an Italian competitor on that one. I've never watched the Italian Drag Race.
Cardi Black. Oh, thank God.
I got part way through.
This is her picture here. Those boobs. She's the youngest little thing. Look at, you can see her. She's 8 years old.
Give me 1 second. Stay there, Wilma. All right, there we go. All right, we got a full
But this is her. This is her YouTube channel. She's got some great little videos, but I've been following some of her tips and tricks as well. I think, a tip and a trick is only useful if it works for you.
Yeah.
Some great makeup artists may have tips that aren't for you and vice versa. So I always look for inspiration everywhere. My first inspiration was Matthew Anderson's work on Rue's face because he really made her look like she had very little makeup on, and that's the hallmark right there.
Yeah, she always looked natural. Yeah, like natural.
Oh my God, do you remember when Billy B used to be?
Oh my God, I do.
Holy cannoli!
He was so funny too because he was trying to be like the Simon Cowell of makeup or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he had like a set of brushes. I came so close to buying those brushes, but I never bought the bullet or bit the bullet. Either one.
Pulled the trigger, bit the bullet.
Exactly. Yes, I pulled the bullet, guys.
Well, if that doesn't sound like a euphemism.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean a lipstick.
Well, you don't need one.
There you go. Lashes for you.
Ooh, looking gorgeous.
George! You have to catch up to you then. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with my teeth. I want you to know.
What does that mean?
I might not brush them more than
Oh.
once a day. Or maybe once every other day. I get into, like, it's like I realize, when's the last time I washed my face? Do you know what I mean? I just get into these zones, and every time I'm putting on lipstick, I'm so amazed at how not bad my teeth are. Okay.
My favorite, because Joanna was saying she likes the international franchises. My favorite was Holland.
Ah.
That was my favorite. I was very sad that one was gone. That and the original.
Right.
What was that you were just saying? I'm so sorry.
Oh, for favorite franchises from RuPaul, mine was Holland or Netherlands, I guess I would call it now.
Yeah, that was the first one.
That was
I
my
liked everybody that was in there. Unfortunately, their host had some problems. Bless his
and
heart.
I liked the host. I mean, I
He
don't
was
know.
so great.
Yeah, I don't know
He did it in drag,
the
even though he wasn't a current drag queen. Like, he did drag. He has a history with drag, but he's not known for drag.
Yeah.
But he is known in Holland for being a presenter. So for him to go on camera in drag, I was very impressed.
Yeah, no, I thought he was really good as just really personable and fun to watch, right?
Oh, okay. So where's my oldest lipstick? I have to look at the package.
Yeah, Psycho Space Cadet. I was wondering that too. I thought Philippines was the first franchise.
They were, but when they first did it, it wasn't an official franchise.
Oh.
Yeah, and
so they did it like Canada's Drag Race, Philippines Drag Race.
I tried.
So here is my oldest MAC lipstick. Can you read this, Candace? You've got your glasses on.
Well, good
you
luck.
don't?
Bon chance.
No.
All right. This is Candy Yum Yum.
Candy Yum Yum. This is my
color.
favorite. This also has a limited edition imaging on the bullet.
Oh, give me 1 second. Let's go super close. There we go. Love.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
So
go.
I don't know what that is, but it's so it's just one of their bullets. But I've had this 5 years.
I can't even remember the last lipstick I had from them.
But this is one of my favorite lipsticks from them.
Well, that's a beautiful pink. Yeah.
And this is the thing. This is the beat liner. But it's not, I don't feel it's too dark for this, especially when...
Yeah, that lipstick is perfect for the eye look.
Yeah. Especially, I'll just use this one. Especially when... I like to brush the liner into so it ombres.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
do two things with my lipstick. I overdraw into my lip with the liner, so I get like almost like, say, maybe a half a centimeter of color around my whole lip, so that the lipstick goes on that, so it darkens that area of the lipstick, and then I brush the liner into everything.
Yeah, most of the time I forget liners.
But I'm not a fan of that pool drain lips, stuck. I'm not a fan of that dark outline around it, so that's how I do this.
Oh, Chloe Paul says you look like Betty Boop. That's so cute.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Okay, so now, I'm sorry, but I have to.
You have to.
I'm going to use my newest product, which is Beauty Moon Cosmetics came out with chrome lip glosses.
Oh, yes. I would like to see how those work, please.
I'm going to show you. So this is Lavish. These are
really
multi-chrome.
I want that new palette. It looks so nice.
So here,
Ooh.
you can see that because I got it on hair, but
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Now, this going on is it's wet, it's sticky, but it actually, you don't need to put a lot. Like what I do is I put this on my hand like a palette, and then I take a brush. Look at the green that goes.
Mm.
It's just incredible. I put it on with a brush, and it makes it less sticky but still impactful. This is Candy Road. I'm thinking of putting this one on, but I think it's too light.
Candy Road with Candy Yum Yum. That kind
So
of.
this is Candy Road from Beauty Moon. This is there.
Well,
And
that's
it
a
goes
nice
to
topper
yellow.
shade. Yeah, that's a nice toppery shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then this is the reason I bought these. I wasn't going to buy all of them because not all the colors work for me, and also I'm not a big fan of a lot of duochrome on the lips. I've seen a couple of videos where people have either put a duochrome eyeshadow as a highlighter or a lip thing, and it just makes the mouth look weird. So unless you're at a rave with a bunch of 12-year-olds, I don't think you should wear it. So this is Scarlet. This is insanity in a lip gloss.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little dark for this lip, so I'm going to do the candy one. But
Oh, that red would
I
look
had
good.
this on in my last video review of Drag Race All Stars season 9, episode 9. Yeah, episode 9 is up right now. Whatever one's up right now, I have Scarlet on my lips. It's stunning. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm just putting this on my hand. I'm just putting it a little bit more where I put this. And then I'm just taking like a lip brush, any lip brush. I just had a lip brush in my hand. What did I do with it? It's gone. It's gone. It hates me.
It's a runaway.
I'll just use whatever this is. Then, so I take this on the brush. Oh, yeah. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
It's really glittery. Like it's got a little shimmer. Like
Lean in a
sequins.
little bit. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, smoochie face.
Yeah. Now I want to do something shiny. All right.
Well, I was going to use an eyeshadow, but I thought, screw it.
Yeah, I'll use a Charmacy one and see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm really loving these. These aren't Tori's latest release at Beauty Moon. I think she just came out with another.
She got a palette, and then she had some other
There
glittery.
was something that she just released, and I'm glad that I didn't know she had released something new.
Right.
I don't need to be, that's the hard thing. I bought 2 palettes from I Feel Beautiful, and now I'm looking on.
What's the other one that you bought? I know you bought the Rick and Morty.
I don't want to tell you.
Oh no! Why? Don't live in shame.
Let me put my hair on, and then I'll feel less. Oh, I haven't put my eyelashes on yet. Jesus, it's like I've never done makeup before.
Never done makeup before. My goodness.
All right, while I put my eyelashes on, I will tell you. So I'm a magpie. If it's colorful and sparkly and big, I'm gonna get it.
Nice.
And there was a release earlier this year, that was very anticipated for me. It involved a makeup artist I like, a company I like. It wasn't some cartoon thing that Glamlight was throwing together. It was real people in the makeup world putting together product. I was so excited. And then I saw the palette, and it was gorgeous, but it also looked like 400 other palettes to me. And I felt badly because on one level, the makeup artist is British and very familiar with British companies like, as an example, Be Perfect, who have those carnival palettes that are huge. And they're just big, huge rainbow palettes that Stacey MUA put together. They're gorgeous, and they really are the reason that Be Perfect is still open as a company, I think. But if you're American, chances are you don't know who Be Perfect are, because they're not just British; they're Irish, so they're even a little more, you know. Beauty Bay's big palettes. Like if you know Beauty Bay, then you more or less have a palette like this. But this was an American company that teamed up with this British makeup artist. So on one level, I thought this is a great introduction of this British makeup artist to Americans. And I also thought this is a great example of like a mega palette that people in Europe are more familiar with. But I also feel like it was coming at the tail end of mega palettes. I don't feel like people are producing mega palettes anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was Ellis Atlantis's Blend Bunny collab.
Ah, where you got me the blush from. Yes.
Yes. So when I bought you the blush, I bought myself the palette. And it's expensive. And it's big. And it's beautiful.
It does look beautiful. It does.
It really is. The thing I love about it is that it's the monstrosity of a Be Perfect palette. It's unnecessarily large. There's far too much in it. You'll never use all of these things. But you know, how do you not say yes to it? And then the other thing is, it's got the beauty of a Blend Bunny palette where it's laid out in tones. It grades from dark to light, hue to hue. You know what I mean? It's just very, I feel, especially for people who aren't maybe good with color theory or maybe experienced makeup artists in their own right, like they're not used to blending and stuff. When stuff is laid out like that, I think it makes it easier for people to see what they're doing. And a lot of palettes, they break up this color story, so they might have a yellow here and an orange over there, not next to each other. And the reason they do that is to keep your eye moving. So you're constantly like, you know, and I just don't like that, because the other side of that constantly moving your eye is you're moving to these bright colors and missing all these neutrals. And then you realize once you bought the thing, oh, I've got 40 neutrals in a 45 pan palette.
Right.
So that's my only complaint with the layout of a lot of color stories. It's meant to be distracting, and I prefer a little more order.
That's why I like magnetic palettes, that you can move it around. I think I did that with one of my, it might have been Lethal. I moved it. It was making me crazy, so I had to go and I changed them to make it the way I like the look of it. And Blend Bunny is good for their cohesion. That's why I like it. That's why I hope they never change, because I do like when they do that. Oh, cute. Is that the one you did during the power outage?
This wig, yeah. I took a course. You know, like Denise Journeau does my wig. She's in Denmark. And she's just somebody who really liked what I was doing and said, I want to make you a wig. And I said, well, yeah. And I'm not gluing it down, I'm sorry. But so she's been doing my wigs for a couple years now, and I really appreciate her work. She's talented. But I'm also somebody, I like to do stuff on my own. Like, I don't mind asking somebody to do something for me, but I only like to ask them if I don't have time to do it myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just had this on yesterday, so it's a little stretched out. But anyway, so I took this course online with Carl Brown is his last name, and he's actually the Europe's premier vintage hairstylist. He's been doing it, specializing in it for so long that he's actually an expert on it, and he does online wig courses, which are great because not only do you do the course, but then he sends you a video of the course. You can watch it live, or you can watch the video whenever you have time. And the nice thing with that is that it's after the course is done and you've watched the video, you can download the footage. So you have a visual reference to the class all the time. And when I got out of the hospital last year, Carl had one of his courses up, and I said, "Oh, you know, like he's always selling wigs and he's always got his courses, and I'm constantly leaving him messages on how beautiful his work is, but I didn't. Oh, I haven't put highlighter on, so I'm going to use my Juvia's Place loose powder highlighter." So I contacted him. He had, while I was in the hospital, he had posted something online about how people were like ghosting him. Like they would say, "Oh, I love this," or "I want to buy that," or "I'm going to take this course," or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they never hear from them again, and they never took the course or bought the product or whatever. And it was just affecting him, like his joie de vivre. You know what I mean? Like it was just, why are all these people not following through? Like, you know, how do you not take that personally, right? So I sent him a message and said, "Oh, Carl, I'm so sorry you're experiencing this right now. Don't take it too personally, because you really are a talented person." James Mansfield took courses with Carl. So just to give you a reference on what he does. So I said to him, "I would be taking your class if I could afford it, you know. So please don't take this too personally. You know, people are fickle, or they're up their own butts, or they forget, you know." He's also cute, so sometimes I think, you know, maybe they just want to sleep with you, you know, things like that. So he said, "Oh, thank you. You're so kind. You're always so supportive." And the other thing, keep this in mind, he's never really responded to any of my little posts. Sometimes I get a heart, like, you know, a reaction to it, but no response. And so he responded to this saying, "Oh, thank you so much. You know, if you would like to take my course, I would love to give you the course." And like I cried.
Mm-hmm.
He's so talented, and it's like, dude, don't diminish what you're worth, but you're not stupid. I said, "Yes, thank you." And I took that course and I loved it. And then he did this last one. He just had another one, and the first thing that I wanted to do was always, after him giving me a course, was to either buy a wig from him at some point when I could, or take a course, like pay for the course. So this course came up, and it was like vintage. And the key thing was, one of them was a Liz Taylor hair. And I did a wig for Candace. And after I did it, I looked at a picture of Liz Taylor and went, "Well, that looks nothing like Liz Taylor." Yeah, but I'm saying it now. Bring me back that wig and I'll redo it. I'll give you Liz Taylor. Let me tell you what. But yeah, this one, I did this one, and I did Wilhelmina's. There's a pink one as well, a pinkish blue one. And this is, like, I wore it yesterday, so parts of it are starting to drop. But I didn't spray it very hard. Also, like, I have an issue with using too much hairspray, because I'm that type of person. I like to wash my wig and reset it. I'm not doing that anymore because it takes too much time. So this was my first kind of post that class wig. And the other style that he did, there was a Marilyn Monroe-ish, like taking that page boy and Marilyning it, and then doing a Liz Taylor. And the difference between those two is Liz Taylor had that classic Hollywood style that was brushed out, and Marilyn Monroe had more of a casual set. It was more, you know, it moved, it got in her eyes. She's like, "Oh, I'm a girl," you know, that kind of thing. So there's some subtle differences in the styles of those wigs, and they all come up in how you roll them. And so I was very excited to take the course. The course was fantastic. If you don't know Carl Brown, please find him on Instagram. Carl Brown.
I follow him. Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's got a new course coming up in October. Shut up! On drag hair. And what that course will be teaching you is big drag hair. So double stacking, all of that. So if you're interested in taking a wig course, and you're interested in taking like a really specifically fun, big, like I want statement hair wig course, this one coming up in October, I would highly recommend. I've taken 2 of his. I don't know where I'll be in October. Like, if I have money and I have time, I'm definitely going to take that course. I feel like in Toronto, there aren't a lot of wig stylers anymore. From what I've heard from people, because people are seeing my wigs and going, oh, can I get you to do one for me? I'm like, oh, I didn't think these would turn out, like, so don't pay me for it. But I have done a couple of wigs for people, and they're fine. But I want to get better. So
it's not easy. It's not easy. My friend asked me to help her with hers, to do victory rolls and stuff in it, and I got it to work, and she said people liked it, but holy crap, right? Especially on somebody else's head, and it's not your own hair, and and then I'm left-handed, so that always makes everything else equally wonky.
Are you left-handed, Chloe? I have been watching you online all this time. I've never noticed. I always notice when people are like, I always make a mental note because they're the devil. But oh yeah, no, I did one wig for myself. I was doing something online. I was using, I think, the smoky palette you and Martha sent me for my birthday, and I did a lot of like that gray tones, all those, and I put a white victory roll wig on. But the thing was, it was a white wig I had. Oh, I'll put that wig on. Then I looked at it, it's like, oh, she's rough. So because she was rough, that's the perfect hair for a victory roll. So I victory rolled it very quick, stuck some pins in it, and everybody was like, the wig! And I'm like, 3 minutes is all I spent on that. But it's amazing to me how many people aren't doing wigs. So I'm just realizing like how valuable it is to know how to do a wig. Like, you don't have to be good at it. It's like sewing. You don't have to be good at it. But if you land in the middle of Duluth and there's no store for you to buy an outfit to replace everything that got lost on the airline, it helps if you can take a big piece of stretchy fabric and sew it. Yeah. You don't have to be a couturier, but you just need something to cover you. And the same with a wig. It doesn't have to be, you put a hat on, you can hide it, you can do all sorts of things. My favorite thing, a friend of mine, Carlotta Carlisle, a drag queen I sew for, I was measuring her for an outfit at the gig in a bar here in Toronto, Cruise and Tango. And they have a stage, and the next to the stage is the DJ booth, and the next to that is a space that they've created, mostly with curtains. I don't think there must be solid walls somewhere, but it's a dressing room. But it's just an empty room. There's mirrors on one side, and that's a shelf, but that's it. And so Carlotta was in there, and I'm measuring her, because I have to measure her in her padding, because I'm making her dress. And so the best time to do that with a drag queen is when they're performing. So I was backstage with her, and she took a wig. She's like, I can't. So she had to, last minute, she took this one wig she had, put it on backwards so the lace was back here, pulled it forward and ponytailed it with an elastic, twisted it and pinned it. Not hard. She took another wig, pinned it into that here, twisted it, brought it around and pinned it there, and it was this big knot of hair on the front of her head with this 3 seconds, and she was so glamorous. It was like, so I did that with one of my wigs, and I used to wear, I don't know if you ever saw, but I had a red one that looked like a turban in the front, like it was like a Chelsea bun up here. That was a backwards wig with another wig there, and like just being able, if you're able to just manipulate things, just to make them look good, then that's what it's all about. So yeah, I'm hoping to improve on my wig styling. I need to set them better. Like see how loose this is? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I just need to repin it and spray it. That's all. This one's better. See, it's like one solid piece. But the other thing that Carl does, which it scares the hell out of me, is he'll curl the whole wig out, and then he starts, and then he'll like just take scissors and hack off a part of it. And it's balanced, and he just I used to think, why are you hacking out? James Mansfield used to that, made me crazy. But then you see it, it's like, oh. And then I was cutting this wig or Wilhelmina's, but I realized, I'm only cutting like the same amount off this row, this line of hair, because sometimes you want them shorter so they curl more, or you want them shorter so you can tease them in for a base. Yeah. And it's the deeper ones you want looser, just for like, movement and stuff. So, I really enjoyed the course. So that's what happened. That's where this is from. I'm well and far away from not needing Denise, but I do like to be a little more independent on my own. You know what I mean?
Or yeah, or even just to fix something if something goes wonky or something happens, that you're able to, something that she's done, recurl that bit or redo that bit, right?
Yeah, like I have one of my first wigs that she sent me. The first wig she sent me is this beautiful big afro, tawny afro, and it's not a red, but it's not blonde, and it just over time it just the curls were starting to release. So I need to refresh it because it was also parting in the middle. I just need to bring it back to life. And so what I'm going to do is wash it in cold water so it keeps all its curl, and then just brush it out and take some time with it. It just needs to be reassembled. I love Lucy wig she did, a Lucille Ball style wig.
I love that one.
Yeah, but she really made a big drag wig. It's huge. And so it's hard to be on camera with it, but also it's quite heavy in the front. She's stuffed it with, so it kind of leans forward on my head. So that's a wig that I want to take some of the stuffing out and just redress it. I'm not going to change anything to it. I'm not going to redesign it. I just want it smaller and less heavy. And then the wig I've been wearing recently, which is more of an orange puff ball, I love that one too, but I've been wearing it so much that it's starting to like do this. So I just need to spend some time with it and just reset it. But I don't need to do anything. I just need to pin it and spray it dry. So
I was just wondering, could you each, because we were talking about makeup favorites and using up some old makeup gems, you both look gorgeous. What was your, so Chloe, what were the products? Could you remind us what you used again? And then what was your experience of using these products again? We went into these old makeup faves. What did we think going back into them?
I think most of them ended up still lasting the test of time. So I think that if it's a good brand, I guess. So like I used 2 different Beauty Bay ones. I used the pastel for blending on the outside, and then I used one of the mattes for the inside, and it worked just like it did when I got it. And then I used a little bit from all of these palettes, and they've worked really well. So the Zulu one, I used the 2 shimmers, this one on the inner corner, and then this one here, like on the front part here, and they worked just as good as they did. And then I think the only one, maybe this green one, needed a little bit more zhuzhing, I think. So out of all of them, I think this one is maybe suffering time a little bit. And then the Colored Rain, the dark shade that I used from this, worked perfectly well. So all the shadows. Thank you. So I think all the shadows worked really well. The bronzer thing did really well. The lips are still really good. I think the blush is still working good. The Juvia's Place Tribe one, so that still did good. And then I used for the shimmery part, the Color Effects. Yeah. I think the only thing that had a little bit of a failing, and I think maybe if I take some tape to get rid of the hard pan, is the Fenty one has hard pan, because I don't usually use a brush for it. I use my finger. So some highlighters, when you use the finger, they'll get hard pan. Like the ones from Odin's Eye, you should never use your finger on them. Always use a brush because they will automatically hard pan. But this one is also, I think I got this maybe a year into the pandemic, so it's probably like going on 3 years old. So I think that was the only thing that that I used that was older that had any issues. This is an old. What is it? A year ago that I got this? Maybe a year and a half, and I just opened it. So it's, I think as a base, it worked really well. So, so I think it was only and does it have an expiry on it? Oh, and this one expires April 2025. So it's still got, got life in it. The primer isn't wreaking any havoc with my eyes, and this one's at least 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, I think everything worked really well. I think it's just a case of smelling them, seeing how seeing how it works, especially with cream products. But I think this one and then the one shade in the Juvia's Place just needed a little bit more work. But I think other than that, all the older products that I tried were still working really well.
Oh, that's great. Wilma, could you do the same thing?
Oh, sure.
Sort of do like a little
Yeah.
tour, like just remind us again of the products you use.
I used the Juvia's Place Disco Party, only the dark blue for my crease line. I used these 3 shades from Alyssa Edwards' Stars of Beverly Hills palette for my eyebrows. I did not use this palette, which it's sad because I really like this palette. I just find it so hard to use it. I used these 3 blues here for my lid. I used the hauntingly beautiful, this purpley pastel color outside.
Could you lift the palette a little bit?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Right there.
Wonderful.
And that's this palette. And I used come to me, come to me, come to me. Oh, here it is. The Midas Cosmetics Lemonade palette. I used this tone on my eyelid. Oh,
no!
Oh.
Oh my
Look
God!
at that! All of them fell out. All of them fell out.
I'm so sorry.
And I don't know where they go, but that's all right. All right. But I used a lot of yellow in here for my lid, but I also used a pigment from P. Louise for the sparkle just in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to be careful when I'm stepping up. I don't step on anything. I used the Juvia's Place Festival palette for blush. This blush. I wanted to use that, but it scares me. I also want to use this as a highlighter because it's gorgeous, but I used,
that's pretty. Or a nice inner corner.
Yeah. I used this tone. I think it was this tone from Juvia's Place as well. And then that's it.
And we had Candy Yum Yum on the lips.
Candy,
right?
but that's Candy Yum Yum, the MAC lipstick, which is still perfect, and the Beat lip liner, and the Juvia's Place Heroin loose highlighter, which has a very bold tone to it.
The P. Louise in the inner eye, did it need any spray or anything, or did it just?
I used the Jolie Glitter Fix.
Okay, so that's where you use the glitter fix for. Okay.
I have used that stuff with any glitter primer. BH Cosmetics made a fantastic glitter primer. I don't know if you can still get it off their website, but that was a good one. Also, NYX does a glitter primer that's kind of pink and girly. That's fine. It's not my favorite. This is it. This is worth buying from Britain, paying the shipping. I'm going to contact I Feel Beautiful and tell them only to carry this. Leave the rest of it where it lies. This is your poop. But yeah, and I have to say the only palette that I'm suspect on, and I'm remembering I felt that is this one. I felt that the last time. I feel like this is a bit patchy. It's starting to get a little rough. I love this color story so much, though. But like, it's fun.
Well, I mean, they've been unearthly for what, 2.5 years?
Yeah, and this is Alien.
So that's Alien.
Like, the colors still seem all right. This highlighter color, blue, nice. This pink.
Might be just one or two.
Swatch nicely, but I feel like they go patchy on the eyes. I used that pale on the outside. And even doing it like that, I was noticing that it was skipping and stuff. So
gotcha.
It's just I'm not getting rid of this. Oh, I think I also used this dark color as well, just to define my crease a bit after I cut it. But yeah, I love that palette. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for a reason to throw it out, but I'm also aware that I need to use it more before it dies. So I didn't use the Likely Cosmetics, and I didn't use the Juvia's Place, but I also have used these recently, and I know they're fine. But, and the Ugly, don't get me wrong, this is not as old as some of these other ones, but it's one of the older ones I have. But I love this. This is still for sale.
I used it last week, I think.
Pan there.
What's nice about her is that she doesn't release tons and tons. It's
No,
just
rarely releases. So when
slowly building up her range. And then she keeps, like, the original viral blushes, you can still get those 2 palettes. She still makes them, right? Like, she's known for lashes, right? So she's always upping the lashes. So
yeah, I like her lashes. I wouldn't buy them because I make my own.
yeah.
But her lashes are good.
Yeah, if she ever does half lashes, 'cause I really like half lashes. That's kind of my jam. The pair that you sent me from P. Louise, the half lashes, those are good. I would totally buy a mega
Yeah,
palette.
P. Louise makes great lashes. David
Yeah, the
Burkett
half-
sent me a lash vault from them. It was like a book. It opened, and there was maybe 12 pair of lashes in it.
Yeah.
And they were all different. And I remember I used some of them for bottom lashes on their own, and then the others I kind of used as basis to build up. But
Yeah.
exquisite. Yeah, their lashes. Whoever's making their lashes is doing a good job.
Yeah, they go on nice and easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to say there was somebody said they liked the link this week. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah, me
said
too.
I look gorgeous. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like this length for me. I think I'm old lady auntie.
Yeah, it's a flirty length. Like yeah.
I like how this also it's kicky on the side. It's like woo. I feel like when I fart, it goes beep. It's a little tightly wound. Woo! I see this person in an apron. But yeah. Well, there we go. This is our live. This was very much fun. Thank you so much for wanting and reminding me that we have fun doing these and wanting to do one with me. Because if it's left to me, I'm so busy. I don't. It's not that I don't want to get too caught up in other things.
Yeah.
And then I realized every year. So this was fun. We'll have to do that very soon. I also love doing lives because I don't have to edit them.
That's the other thing about them that's good. Yeah, you just film and post and off you go.
Yeah, the yellow from that Midas.
Right? Yeah.
That's got to be, I think that and Juvia's Place have to be the oldest makeups that I have.
Yeah.
And they're still spectacular. So, yeah, if you've got old makeup, just approach with caution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's okay if it dies, things die. If you are sad that it died, it meant you loved it.
Yep.
I remember the first time I decluttered, it was hard to do. And now I open stuff from the mail. I get it in the mail. I look at it and go, oh no, that's not what I thought.
Yeah, I've got another one coming because it's coming up on a year since the last time I went through everything. So I'm gonna try and see if I can be. Because I think I got rid of at least 20 pieces or so. So I'm hoping I could do that again. So
I'm very pleased with myself right now. I went from like 200 plus palettes. I think I might have 175 there. No. I think I've got just over 100 palettes, I think now. Yeah. And I'm really making a huge effort not to buy more. I'm only on one PR list, and that was with Saints, Angels, Sinners. Although I did get the Mad Witch Chances palette.
Yes.
And
I got that. Good,
yeah. And
the new one.
I bought their blush palette, though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm not on their PR list, which is like I'm not asking anyone.
No, totally. It's the same.
I'm not a makeup channel, so I've even said to Darcy, "It's like don't feel you need to send me makeup because no one's coming to my channel to watch stuff like that."
Well, I am.
I love it, but I'm not going to do a lot. I'm so behind on my makeup in movies. That's really the only time that I sit with makeup on camera, and I really need to What I need to do is block out my schedule and go, this is the once of the month that we film that. This is when we film that. So I'm trying to be very aware that the Global All-Stars starts next week. So Wilhelmina and I shotgunned the last 3 episodes of Drag Race All-Stars 9, which was the Lollapalooza and then the 2-part finale. And because the Lollapalooza was just all the queens lip syncing, like literally, there was very little going on but that lip syncing.
Yeah. And
then with the 2-part finale, they didn't need to do a 2-parter, but they really drew it out. One of the things that made it longer was Rue did his classic Tic Tac lunge. But
right.
Normally, he does that. There's 3 queens, right? Like the top 3 or 4. but no one went home on All Stars, so it was all 8 of them. So that took up a little time. Also, they had a quick, like a mini challenge, which was putting the crew into quick drag. So even though they only were spending like 30 minutes putting the crew into quick drag, we still have to watch 8 people finish. You know what I mean? So that takes up time. Why it ended up being 2 episodes, but there wasn't enough to talk about to do 2 episode reviews. So I lumped all 3 of them into 1 episode so that Wilhelmina and I can be done. All Stars 9 in time to start the Global All Stars. Also, Canada versus the World is on right now, and it's very good. Lemon hasn't gone home, which means
that's good. I like Lemon.
Yeah, I do too. I think she's really great. Also, I'm really enjoying her now because she's a little older. So there's a level of her where I see Fierce Delicious is on this season, which is the only reason not to watch it. But I see some qualities that Lemon had her first season.
Yeah.
Because she was young and inexperienced, you know, and now she's she's buried a body. Do you know what I mean? Like and she's a different queen now, and her edge isn't gone. She's still judgy and has an opinion and a little evil, but she's much more user friendly about it, you know. And I think she's got a much bigger awareness of what the repercussions are from an audience's point of view. Like, you can say what you want, and maybe you're right, but if enough people love that person, they're going to hate you. So I think that she's a great cautionary tale for someone like Fierce Delicious, who just is a pill. She's a sad little whiny. She didn't win a sewing challenge. I took a class. It's like, well, so did I. You know, take a class. You know, you don't take a class and throw down Fourier. You have to learn. Like, and I love how she thinks, I took a class, so now you win. Or he's mad. Oh, so you're the only one who came here to win. Oh, what were we all else here for? Coffee? Was the coffee good? You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I mean, if she lost to somebody who was stapling their dress together, then I could maybe be like, okay, I get it, right?
I don't want to spend more time talking about her. You also want to thank Candace, my birthday twin.
Yes, hey.
She came. She saw. She conquered. Learned her Italian. And she's one of my favorite people. We're gonna have her on camera. She and I, just her and I. Maybe
that'll be fun.
We're gonna get her back on camera again soon. But anyway, once I restyle her Liz Taylor wig, we'll do something.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining. Have a great weekend. I am doing my live with my Patreoners tomorrow. If you're not a Patreoner, well, you can go to any of my YouTube videos. There's a link to that in any of them. I might put one on this one after we in post, but I wasn't organized enough today. But I do want to thank you all for coming. This was it wasn't last minute. I just was organized last minute. So I appreciate you, Chloe and Candace, and all of you who tuned in, and I hope you have a great day. And if you buy makeup, enjoy it.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
All right. Bye.